Brothers and sisters, how are you all today? Okay, today, let me see, on my left, I think all season parking, right also season parking. So, 小朋友，你好吗？So today we're going to look at something today. What is today's date? 12. Huh? 12. Still 19. Okay. So I wanted to share with you all today taking refuge. But I also want to know whether know how many of you have taken refuge or not. How many of you have taken refuge? How many of you have not taken refuge? Have not taken refuge? Have not taken refuge? How many of you have not taken refuge? Okay. So, for those who have taken refuge, today's session can be a refresher, yeah, in case you don't know take refuge in what. So, what does it mean by taking refuge? Yeah, because last week we got you all to do some exercises. So I thought this week we will start off the year setting off ourselves in some direction in a way. So taking refuge. 皈依三宝. How come this thing doesn't hide itself? Hang on. Let me check. Where is the taskbar? Personalization? Taskbar. Automatically hide. Can we hide this? Doesn't hide. How come it doesn't hide? How come it doesn't hide? Personalization, taskbar. You see, desktop mode hide, auto hide. Tablet mode auto hide, but it refused to hide. Okay, now it hide. Okay, now it hide. Okay, so taking refuge. Those who have taken refuge, raise your hand again. Okay, then I ask. So, what do you all take refuge in? What do you all take refuge in? We take refuge in the Buddha, in the Dharma, and in the Sangha. But we have covered this topic quite a few times already. So today I want to focus a bit more on the Buddha. Yeah. But before we go into that, why do we take refuge in the Buddha? Recap a bit. Yeah. Or rather, why do we take refuge in these three? What do you call these three? This three is called the triple gem. Triple gem. Why are they called the triple gem? Because there are three. 1, 2, 3. This only explains the triple part. Well, it's true, it's called triple gem, not dual gem, not uno gem. Triple, because there's three things. Yeah? So it means that there is actually Buddha gem, Dhamma gem, Sangha gem. Not this gem, this gem, G-E-M. Yeah. The word gem, what does this mean? This is something precious, a precious stone called a gem. Yeah? It's a precious stone. In this case, it's referring to the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha as precious and rare. Precious, rare, and valuable. Have you ever heard of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha referred to in this way? Buddha gem, Dhamma gem, yeah? In fact, the second one, Dhamma gem, you should be very familiar. You know why? Because gem, another in Pali or Sanskrit is Ratana. So the Bhante here, Bhante Dhamma Ratana. So Dhamma gem. But when we say we take Buddha, take refuge in the triple gem, the Dhamma gem is not that Bhante. Yeah. It's referring to the rarity of encountering the Buddha. In this world, hard to have someone awaken. Hard to find. Hard to find someone who is self-awakened, even harder. Hard to find someone perfect in knowledge, perfect in compassion, perfect in wisdom. Hard to find. Hard to find someone endowed with all these qualities and willing to, with the compassion, that means the compassion is the willing part, and the ability, the wisdom part, to teach, to set forth the teaching, because it's not a trivial task. Yeah. Even the Buddha in a few suttas, he used the word, it's weary. Yeah, it means very tiring. Yeah. Tiring to do what? Tiring to teach, tiring to explain. Venerable Ananda is seen in many suttas, asking him many questions. And he oftentimes explain. But in a few suttas, we see the Buddha telling him that if you come to the Tathagata, you come to the Blessed One, asking this same question or similar question again and again, you'll be weary, you'll be tiresome for the Tathagata. When I read this, I was like, interesting, how can the Buddha be tired? Imagine one day, you go to Simalu and pray, Bobby. Then you hear a voice, Rosalind. My dear, stop asking the same question. What? 你烦不烦啊? Imagine. Yeah, but the Buddha is rare among the humans. Yeah, and the teachings everybody teach. Yeah, every teacher teaches something. But to have the teaching that describes the way to end suffering, and actually end suffering. and that is rare. Yeah, that is rare. A lot of schools, a lot of different traditions, different ascetic groups, Brahmins, different religions, make the claim to rid us of suffering. Yeah, make this claim, make that claim. But rare it is, to find the teachings that actually give that liberation, show the path towards liberation. So it is considered precious and valuable also, because there may be some teachings that is rare, no one teach it, but what is the value? What does it do for you? Something can be rare. For example, this is quite rare. Wow, this is also quite rare. But maybe no value to you. Maybe. Anyone want? And then the Sangha is rare. The Sangha refers to the community of enlightened ones. In this case, when we say Sangha Jam, then it's a bit different. My teacher explained, Seng Bao. It's not simply the monastics. Sangha usually refer just to monastics, but when we say Sangha Jam, then it's not just the monastic. It should include the monastics, but more importantly, the enlightened community. So it doesn't matter whether you're a monk or nun, you must be enlightened. Then you're considered part of the Sangha Jam. There's such a distinction. Of course, community, not difficult to find. But to find those community that has enlightened ones inside are not easy to find. The Sangha consists of those on different stages of the path. And they can serve as guidance for us, serve as inspiration for us, companions on the path. Quack, lie, sit up straight. Don't sit down then like that. Not good for your neck. From 10 years ago, 10 over years ago, I see you sit quite straight. Now, over the years, like that. Now, getting old. Yeah, I know. That's why I must put in more effort to sit up. Not easy. Not easy. So, all this being said, what is the benefit of taking refuge? So when we take refuge, it is said that one of the benefits is that it can lead towards liberation. But we must know that it's not simply just going through the ceremony. Or I go through ceremony, then dong. It can lead towards liberation. Doesn't mean that you just take refuge, then you will be liberated. But in what way can it lead towards liberation? In the text it says, the Buddha said, when he was going to enter Parinibbana, he said, 能度者以度，未度者以种下这个得度因缘。So when the Buddha was passing away, then he declared that among those who have taken refuge, who have got to know the teachings, those that can be liberated has been liberated. But those that has not been liberated has planted the seeds for future enlightenment. Planted the seed. So when we take refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, in a way we are planting the seeds. Planting the seeds for what? Planting the seeds to move in that direction. But over the years, I realized it's also not so simple. Even when we say plant the seeds, what kind of seeds is planted? Depends really on your mindset. Like let's say you go through a ceremony. Yeah. Those who have taken refuge, did you all go through a formal ceremony? Yeah, most of you would have, right? Did you all just go to the Buddha, in front of Buddha and just bow 3 times and say, "May the Blessed One consider me as his disciple from now until end of my life"? Did you just say that 3 times and then the Buddha, sit down there, the Buddha never say anything, so he agreed? Did you all do that? I don't think so. In the Buddha's time, that's all they need to do. Yeah. Nowadays, we have a ceremony. Usually beforehand, either you request from the Venerable, make known your intent, that you wish to take refuge, and then the Venerable will arrange a day for you to take refuge. Traditionally, if you ask Chinese monk, then it is said you will find a suitable date. For me, so when students come to ask me, they ask me when. So I follow my teacher's answer. Because last time when I was going to ordain, I asked him, when can I ordain? Then he smiled and he looked at me. He said, ordination is about you. How can I decide for you? You have to decide when you want to get ordained. I said, oh. So now when students tell me that they want to take refuge, and they ask me when they can take refuge, I tell them, same thing. Yeah, anytime, whenever you're ready. And yeah. Do you all expect Sifu to come up with some special date? No, anytime, right? But do you all get to take refuge anytime? Actually, the truth is, not in all centers. Some centers you just pop in and you say that you want to take refuge. The Bante, usually Theravada, they just say, okay, you ready? No. Yeah, usually in Theravada center, you say you want to take refuge, okay, come, kneel down, bow 3 times, immediately let you take refuge. No need for special dates, usually. They will do a simple ceremony, and then they will administer the refuge. And it's more or less like what we have done, what we do every week. The verse is basically identical, except that the Buddhang Saranang Gacchami and so on, Sifu will read one verse, and then you all read. Then Sifu read another verse, then you all read. The significance of the Sifu reading, then you all read, is that this is being administered to you. Yeah, that we are not reading together. I'm reading once to instruct you. Yeah, this is the verse. Then you say, you are the one who say. Yeah. So when you say Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, you are the one who say, to the Buddha I go for refuge. Dhamma Saranang Gacchami, to the Dhamma I go for refuge. Sangha Saranang Gacchami, to the Sangha I go for refuge. Yeah. Then Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, for a second time to the Buddha I go for refuge, and so on. So that's the significance, that you are saying it. You know what I mean? But now when we recite, it's more like a ritual. But actually that's the significance. So when you recite and you go through that process, the so-called ceremony, it's not a ritual. Yeah, you can say it's a ceremony because there are steps now. But it's not so much a ritual. The word ritual is an English word, so there are a lot of different connotations. Yeah, but many times when we use the word ritual, especially in the religious context, it has a certain significance in that it's not just a series of steps, but it is that you must do it exactly in this way, and it is the steps itself that produce certain effect. Rosalind, 来起床了，来做直直，这个业障现前了， when telling story, or talk about ghosts, or explaining the subtlety. No lah. Actually, sometimes it's understandable. Whole week, Monday to Friday, Saturday, busy. Sunday, finally, then some more Sifu's very soothing voice. Very soothing voice. Yeah, so that's what talking about the taking refuge. So, where was I?
Riches are not just riches.
Yes, riches. So, strictly speaking, when we talk about riches, there's that connotation. Yeah, or that you must do like this, like that, exactly. Then it's the ritual itself that has some magical power. In Buddhism, it's not so much. There is power, but it's your mind that is producing the power. Because it's your mind that make the determination, make the effort. Yeah, that I go to Buddha for refuge. Yeah, that is why it's planting the seeds. Yeah. So, having said that, taking refuge is not an end in and by itself. It's a start. Yeah, it's a start in the sense that it marks the start of you taking the Buddha as the teacher. It marks the start of you taking his teaching as, the way you want to learn and train yourself. Taking the Sangha, it marks the start of you taking the Sangha as your guide, as those whom you can refer to for guidance, that you look up to, as a guide on this path towards enlightenment. It's not an end by itself. It's not that you just, do it correctly, then that's it. The rest of your life, okay, I'm confirmed already. No. It's not. It just marks the start. So, because just now when the way I explain it, you may be thinking, jialat leh. That time when I take refuge, I also blah, just go there, then the ceremony, some of it in Chinese, that time I also don't know, then there's this master up there, then there's another few monks, then the monk, in fact the person leading us to tell us to bow down is a lay person, then just pai, then we just then come out there, then after that five precepts, ask us, nen sifu, nen, also don't know, then how? Don't worry, because it's the start. Yeah, a person may at that moment, very serious, but maybe 3 days later, not serious. Then the rest of their life, although gone through the ceremony, but in their daily life, never take refuge. Yeah. So I say this doesn't mean that those of you who haven't take refuge, then just go through and then then the Sifu, serious a bit 要正受的。Oh no, 转换法师先never mind one. No, 转换法师 say every day more important. No lah. If you want to take it seriously, then throughout the whole process, the ceremony, then every day also take it seriously. Why not, right? So in this way, then you are planting the seed. In this way, you plant the seeds for future enlightenment. In this way, you plant the seed for affinity with the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, such that in future life, you get to meet Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha again. And in this way, you plant the seed so that in future, when Maitreya Bodhisattva arise in this world, if you are still hanging around, you have a chance to meet Buddha Maitreya Buddha. Sometimes we wonder to ourselves, how come people, so young you learn Dhamma? I only learn Dhamma when I'm 50 years old. I only learn Dhamma, then another person, you 50 years old, I 70 years old, then learn. Don't have to complain, man. Don't have to complain. Especially in Singapore. If you think about it, quite interesting, right? Singapore has so many temples, no? In such a small island. Sometimes because there are about 200 over society registered with ROS under Buddhist organizations, 200 over. Yeah. such a small island. Yeah, if you spread average, right, per how many square meters, yeah, how many don't know kilometers, then there's one society, you know. Yeah, if it's spread across, the chance of us encountering some Buddhist society should be quite high, isn't it? But in Buddhism we say conditions. Because for many Chinese, especially Chinese, most of us would have been exposed to some form of Buddhism when we were younger, isn't it? But as to whether, when we're exposed to it, do we connect? Do we connect? And that depends on what? Depends on our and don't have to spend time lamenting about how come our link wasn't so good, how come it wasn't so strong in the past. In the past, past already. Last week weather bad or good, already gone. Agree? Yeah? How was last week's weather? Wow, all 放下 one. Wow, this group all cultivators. Last week 不可得. Next week 不可得. 现在不可得. Cannot remember actually. This one is not the 放下. This one is not the 不可得. This one is 忘记. Yeah. A few days of shower. The weather is generally still quite okay, right? Before December, wow, very hot. There was a period of time that was very hot, isn't it? And then after that, there was cold temperature. Yeah, early December when we were in St. John's Island. Wow, shower, every day shower. Yeah, the timing sometimes matched very nicely. When we are sitting, it shower. When we finish, it stop showering. Then we can walk. Then finish walking, down. Yeah, make sure you all come back. Yeah. So regardless of how the weather is, already passed. Yeah. Similarly, your past link, good or bad, is already like that lah. Don't have to lament. What you can do is, okay, how about future? Yeah. Plant the seeds now. Yeah. You only have now to plant seeds. If you look at all the different traditions, all the different practices, it's all about planting the seeds. So, taking refuge, planting the seeds, leading towards liberation. Yeah. But if you just say take refuge, then you must know that there are implications. Yeah. So just now mentioned Dhamma and Sangha. So when we say take refuge in the Dhamma, something that you are already doing. Yeah. So is to learn, reflect, and practice the Dhamma. No? To learn the teachings, reflect over the teachings, and then practice the teachings. Yeah. So then in this way, then the seeds. You plant the seeds, right? Then what to do with the seeds? When you learn some more, then it nourishes the seed. You reflect, it strengthens the seed. You practice, then the seed can grow. Otherwise, just sit, nothing happening. Nothing happening. So, a bit more about the benefits. I often ask students, ask you all this question: how many of you want to attain enlightenment? Yeah, ask until you all can memorize already. Yeah, but what if you cannot attain enlightenment in this life? Next life lor, Sifu, next life lor. Yeah. So, next life, I think last week or last week I talked about where you want to be reborn, right? Can you remember? Yeah. Out of the 6 realms, who wants to go to the 3 lower realms to give Tizang Pusa some help? They are always looking for volunteers. Yeah, looking for Xiao Pusa to go down. How? Anyone? No one. But then it means that you want to be reborn. If you cannot get enlightened, then you will be reborn, right? So where do you want to be reborn in? So you want to be reborn as a human or in the heavenly realm? So taking refuge has this benefit: human and heavenly rebirth. And again, it is not simply going through a ceremony that afford you this benefit. This benefit comes from the learning, reflection, practice of the Dharma. Not just simply going through that ceremony, no. If just going through the ceremony, 太简单了. Too simple. Not so simple. You must learn, practice, learn, reflect, and practice the Dharma. Of course, this means that you learn, reflect, practice, but haven't made it. Then that brings us to the 5 precepts. Yeah, because when we talk about Dharma, it includes the 5 precepts. And it is the 5 precepts that supports the human and heavenly rebirth. How many of you haven't taken refuge? What are you all waiting for? The interesting thing in Buddhism is, you see, we don't really tally any number. You know, in fact, sometimes some students, the other day, just a family came over and tell me that this don't know, son, the daughter. Yesterday at NUS, one not fresh grad, freshie, first year student. When I arrived, he quickly come over and say, "Hello, Shifu." And I said, "Hello." And then he told me that he was my student in Kong San Dharma School. Yeah. So now he's 22 years old. When I taught him, he was maybe 14 or 15 years old. So that's almost like 7-8 years ago. Yeah. So what do I want to tell you, Today a bit tired, huh? Oh, yes. So sometimes students tell me that they took refuge administered by me. I also cannot remember. Right, answer. Quick, answer the call. Answer lah, what are you doing? Hello? Sing How? You need to reply the call? Oh, really reply?
For those laymen who don't take the 3 refuge, but they practice the Dharma and they learn, reflect, and practice, does it mean that they don't have the benefit?
So is there a difference?
I mean, is the 3, for those who take the refuge, is it a reminder to themselves, or?
So Is it compulsory to take refuge?
Like during the Buddha's time.
Oh, I can tell you very simply, not compulsory. The Buddha never take refuge in anyone also.
Then earlier on when you asked about why are we waiting for so.
Oh, so you know, but that's Buddha ma. Of course, maybe you are a Buddha. Buddha don't need a teacher. Self-enlightened. Buddha is able to do that. I don't know whether you can do that. So, hang on. So this thing about, but Sifu, if I can just learn, practice, and learn, reflect, and practice the Dharma, then why do I have to take refuge? Yeah. So the question I often ask is, so is there a difference? Is there a difference between taking refuge or not taking refuge then? Is there a difference?
What are you asking me? So that was my question to you.
Very smart. Actually, that wasn't a quiz question. Suddenly become a quiz question. So you're asking me whether there's a difference?
If for a lay person who doesn't take the refuge but learn.
Well, yeah, I think there's a difference. Yeah, that's why I asked you all to take ma. Do you all think there's a difference? Huh? There's difference in what sense? Difference in the sense that for most people, if you don't take refuge, difficult to persist. Doesn't mean that you take refuge, then you confirm persist. But if you don't take refuge, then it's even harder for you to persist. Because if you don't take refuge, no commitment. Today I'm Buddhist, tomorrow, well, who cares? Yeah. Otherwise, what for I trouble myself wear like that? Right, I practice ma, I don't have to wear like that ma. Correct or not? Then next week, the next week is that class there is Then next week I come in jeans t-shirt. Can or not? Can you accept Sifu come over here, wear jeans t-shirt and then you still bow down?
Yes.
No. Better make a distinction. Yeah. I appreciate your vote of confidence. Yeah. But not because I'm a monk, but whether I'm a monk or not, whether I'm a Buddhist, but I'm a monk. Even when I was a lay person, I would say the distinction is important. The distinction is important. Whether in terms of taking refuge or ordaining. It serves a purpose. Yeah, it does serve a purpose. It is, in principle, true that if you consider the Buddha, he didn't take refuge. He just practiced, and in fact, he didn't even need a teacher in his last life. But that's because for many lives, he has already planted the seeds very, very strongly. Yeah, so it's a matter of having a trigger. Then, boom. But for most of us, no. Similarly, in the worldly sense, there are some people, they just look at something, they don't even have to touch it, they look at it, they can figure out how the thing works. Some people, you have someone sit down, come, I explain to you, after 3 hours, can you explain the first part again? You know? So different people have different that propensity, the ability to practice or to learn and realize is different. Sometimes some students say that there's no difference. How many of you think that there's no difference? How many of you think that there's difference but you haven't taken refuge? If you think there's every difference, then you still don't take refuge, what are you waiting for?
It applies to different people.
So do you think there's a difference for you? No difference. Really no difference? Then why are you not taking refuge? No difference, but...
Because it's a ceremony and...
No, but you say no difference, ma. Take or don't take, no difference, ma. No difference, then why don't you take refuge?
Because actions speak louder than words.
Huh?
I mean, if you take refuge in front of the Buddha, then but if you are not practicing it, then that is not.
But for you, no difference, ma. You will practice whether you take refuge or don't take refuge, ma. So why don't you take refuge? Wait.
Why would I take
Yeah, because it's true that for some people, they take refuge, then they will practice. They don't take refuge, then they don't practice. Then there are some who, they take refuge, they don't practice. They don't take refuge, they practice. So then there's a difference. For you say no difference, ma. Then why don't you take refuge?
one precept.
Wait, don't destroy the cushion. 他跟你没有过节。Because there's what?
Because the 5 precepts are not easy to keep up to.
So there's a difference lah.
As a lay person.
So there's a difference lah.
So if I take refuge, I probably will ordain. So there's
Either all or nothing. 去拜鬼 don't waste time lah. 师父 don't need to have so many ceremony. If I go through ceremony, either I get married or I get ordained. One time.
Yeah, because.
Oh, so it's because of the 5 precepts. 5 precepts.
As a layman, honestly, it's very difficult in the society to maintain the 5 precepts.
Difficult, man.
I mean, as a monk, it's different.
Last time I'm not monk. Last time I also observed 5 precepts. Which part? Huh?
17.
Then
5 precepts.
5 precepts.
Yeah. So that bring you to venerable.
Children. But I think under Wu Feng长I already observed that.
That one is 皈依.
Oh, never take refuge. Oh, okay. So, which part is difficult? Maybe not just you lah. Otherwise, the cushion will get destroyed. How about the rest? Like?
So I just feel that going through I know one session when you conduct the session for taking the refuge. Is there a need for that ceremony thing?
Is there a need?
Yeah, because if I were to go for that, I mean not that you want to take this. 这样讲is 那个形式 but at the end of the day 心不归没有用。
Then why don't you quit and go through a ceremony?
You force me to go into that, or I force.
No, who is forcing you? I'm asking you to force yourself. Never say that I want to force you.
So it must come naturally when you think.
Why don't you come naturally? Why must you wait for people to force you?
Even if it comes naturally, don't need to have the ceremony. You will still take the refuge and take the 5%. That is what I feel like. This is what I went through.
You know,
I feel that if you ask me to sit there and I think it didn't work.
Sit there and what?
Huh? I don't know. I just feel that it didn't work for me
Wait.
Right for me, I'll just
No.
automatically take refuge.
No. I tell you, you are just giving yourself excuses.
That's right.
No. Listen first. You don't know how long you'll live. You want to leave your chance, leave your opportunity for liberation to chance. You want to wait until one day you feel like it. You feel that it's natural. Taking refuge is not about how you feel. Feelings can change. Today you feel like it, then you take refuge. Tomorrow you don't feel like it, then you denounce. Taking refuge is not a feeling. It's not an impulse. It's not a 感觉. It's not how you feel, whether you feel natural or not. Nothing to do with feeling. It's about your decision. That you see clearly this is the right thing to do, then you do. It's not a feeling that you feel is right. You see clearly this is correct. It's okay if you tell me, I still don't see that it's correct. Okay? I cannot force you to say that it's correct. But if you tell me, I need to have that natural feeling. Rubbish. I can tell you, all rubbish. Two person, when they want to get married, they will say it's the right time. They don't want to get married. The guy asks the girl, hey, 嫁给我. The girl don't want means don't want. You can say anything you want. Correct? Don't want means don't want. Don't have to come up with all kinds of... yeah. Let me tell you. No, I don't want to listen. But later. Let me tell you. When I ordained, do you know how many lay person come and tell me, oh, you are so, you have so much merits, blah blah blah. Then half a year and one day after I ordained, my teacher passed away. When we went to Taiwan to do the funeral and wake, do you know how many of his disciples come forward to see us? And then when they introduce, they learn that, oh, I'm one of the last disciple to be ordained by my teacher. Oh, they look teary, they feel so sad. Then they say, oh yeah, you have so much merits. You have a chance to be ordained under teacher. Oh yeah, actually last time I want to ordain. Actually. And so I'm like, 哎呀，我早知道我做皇帝，早知道我成佛，早知道。I tell you, a lot of people, they give themselves all kinds of conditions when they will ordain, when they will take refuge, when they will do this, when they will do that. A lot of them, then some of them learn a bit of Dharma, then they will say what you just said. 要看因缘，看每个因缘来讲一讲哪个。你现在可以看到因缘吗？ Right? How many of you currently can observe past conditions, current conditions in its totality, and future conditions? When we say observe condition, are you able to see currently the mental faculty? You cannot even see your own mental faculty, even though condition. Rubbish, I tell you. Rubbish, no. Yeah, rubbish. Yeah. Wait, Joto. Yeah. To me, I'm in particular a bit. I'm not upset. Don't get me wrong. I just find it very funny. But I feel sympathetic actually. I feel compassion when people say this kind of thing. You know why? Because when you say this, actually there's no reason for you not to take already. But you lock yourself in with this funny idea. I must like that, then I take refuge. But ask yourself, what you just described, right? You say that it must feel natural. How does this feeling change anything with respect to your practice? Doesn't change anything, no. If you now tell me that I have 3 questions about Buddhism, and so far, even Sifu, you with your eloquence and your wisdom and your compassion haven't answered me. Huh? Is it? Yeah, Sifu, the time I asked you, you didn't answer. Oh yeah, that one also. Then we can say that these are really conditions that's external of you. But feelings, to me, no. No. What do you mean?
There is no need. I mean, I don't see why I must. Okay, in order for me to take refuge, I don't see why I must go through the
This is about ego. You have your own idea of how refuge should be. Now look at, you ask yourself, now is Buddha giving refuge be your refuge or you give Buddha refuge? Now it is me, no, listen. Now Sifu administering refuge or you decide how refuge should be? Who are you to decide how refuge should be done?
You can take refuge. I take refuge.
So it means that, no, hang on. So it means that you know better what refuge is, you know. I don't say you don't know, but you got to go back and ask yourself, do you really know Buddha Dharma so well that you have the wisdom to decide how it should be? I tell you, we all have ego in us. We think we know better. But this is where I don't want to convince you, no. I will just tell you you are wrong. Yeah, you think about it. Many questions you ask, Sifu spend time to explain to you. This one I don't want to explain to you. Because this is about ego. Ego don't have to be explained one. You have to realize this is about your own ego. Because now we are not talking about how to construct a building, no. Construct a building, you have the expertise, you have the right to say, no, Sifu, I'm expert. Then I have to listen to you, I have to defer to you. Come to take refuge, you ask yourself, Lord, when do you start learning Dharma? When?
Secondary school.
And then?
But I never take this one.
And then how has it changed your life?
For a period, because it wasn't taught by a sangha, just by teacher.
And then?
And then along the way, of course, after I started work, everything's full of delusion. You're deluded, you're led away. Then it's only when condition arises that the condition arises such that it actually brought me back again, and that's where I kick off.
So, I used to have this kind of mindset. Before I ordained, my younger sister already ordained. So I kept asking my mom, how come a girl go and ordain? Why is there a need to ordain? In a way, the question is different. In a way, the question is exactly the same. I don't feel like there was a need to ordain. Only what? I repeat to practice Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. I practice Dhamma, what? I learn, go for Dhamma talk, I meditate, what? Why must I ordain? I'm not asking you to ordain, don't get me wrong. But I say it's similar because I thought I know better how to get enlightened. I thought I know better what it means to practice Buddha Dhamma. So I feel like I know already. And I think that this is all it takes. Then, because of the condition for me to go for a novice retreat, through the retreat, because we are recording, some things can say, some things cannot say. No. So through the retreat, I realized that all the things I so-called know is just know. Know in terms of just knowledge of what people say about the truth. And in some cases, it's many layers away. But the retreat gave me a glimpse, a very tiny glimpse, I don't say it's a big glimpse, of a tiny glimpse of experience of, oh, the Buddha Dhamma is not simply just about that. Honestly, I went for the first novice retreat, wanting to go there and ask a lot of questions, to question how come like this, how come like that. But through the process, I learned something even more important. Not directly answers to my questions, but it got me to appreciate what the monastic life is about, what the path is about. Yeah, that I realized, I didn't know anything. Yeah. So not just you. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you should know I have nothing against you. And as I said, many times you ask a lot of questions, which I think a lot of people will have kind of question. But I will answer. I will spend time to clarify. But you must go back and think, why this one I don't want to explain? Because I will tell you, this is about us thinking that we know better. You ask yourself, from the Buddha's time until now, you mean all the masters got it wrong? All the masters so stupid, make people go through ceremony. All of them have wrong view. You don't give answer first. You go back and think. Think about this. How many masters do you think exist between Sifu and the Buddha? How many? You ask yourself. How many? You go and think. Don't count because hard to count. Sometimes to know where they are from also. Right? You just speculate. Let's say every 30 years, one master. Generation gap. 2000, let's say 600, divide 30. 260 divided by 3. If it's 270, it's 90. So it's 80 plus. 80 plus, minimally 80 plus generation. So do you think, given, assuming it's 30 if you shorten the thing, let's say like only after 10 years then you can ordain a new one so let's say 15. Maybe 100 over generation. So do you think 100 over generations? And it's not like from the Buddha's time until Sifu, there's only one monk each, or one nun for that matter. Correct? So all those masters in between, what do you think? Do you think you are right, they are all wrong? Or do you think you are uniquely different, that you have reached a state where you don't need because for Cadell, his answer after that, when he clarified, was a bit different. Is that he hesitated because he don't think he can really do the 5 precepts. For you, you haven't put that clarification. So go back and think. For the rest of you, I strongly urge you to, even if you don't want to take refuge, you must think about it. You must think about it. Because otherwise, you'll be sad if I spend so much time teaching Dharma, and then in the end, because Sifu give you explanation, you think that that's all it takes. And you think that then taking refuge, observing precepts is optional. It's not. In case you all get the wrong idea, I tell you crystal clear, black and white word. It's not. Don't later, because of your wrong view, you go deep down. Then another guy, in hell asks, what happened to you? Then one guy say, oh, I killed someone. Then turn around and ask you, how about you? Wrong view. then another guy, hey, Rosalind, I thought you go SGC1. then what happened? Wrong view. Sifu never teach that. You must say, Sifu got teach. I just key. So there are two of you who have things to comment or to ask, but before you ask, those who have not taken refuge, you should go back and really think. As I said, if you think that you are up to the caliber like Buddha, don't need to take refuge one. In fact, don't need to attend SGC. In all likelihood, those of you who still think you need to attend SGC, you definitely need to attend. You need to take refuge. I'm not looking down on you, but it's just a matter of fact. Even for Shifu, I delight in like you think about it. If you don't need to take that, well, then why should I chant, right? But every week I chant with you, every week, and it's not like I chant in a vegetative way. But Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato. I think I sing with more feeling than you. Sometimes I chant, then I feel like, 你们用心一点好不好？有点感觉一点好不好？ Namo Tassa Bhagavato. It's a very joyful thing, to take homage. Hey, enlightened one, look, you go and find angry people very easy to find. You don't want to find them, they find you. Enlightened beings you found. I mean, not in real life, but hey, the lineage from this guy who is enlightened one. Very joyful. Imagine when we chant, the Sing Jing. Like some students, when they want to attend Sing Jing, then they also want to ask, any new content or not? Sifu, so the same thing, Silaksa. I'm like, Sutra haven't changed, right? But imagine if every year when I teach, right, those of you who attend a few sessions, imagine when you attend the second session, the second session you attend is not my second session I teach, You know how many sessions I've taught? Minimally 2 sessions a year, sometimes 3 or 4 sessions a year. I've been teaching Heart Sutra since 2006. By any standard, I don't have to teach anymore. What? I just go and practice myself, or go and hide in a cave. What? Correct or not? But when you all come and attend Heart Sutra, I hope you all feel like, wow, I'm sharing with you something I just discovered last week. Because that will help you. Yeah, because imagine if 师父 teach Heart Sutra. 今天我们要上心经啊，心经你们懂了哈，260个字。玄奘大师翻译的啊，般若波罗蜜多心经，般若智慧啊，大家都知道了哈，不用再多说了。Right, then you're like, 什么代志啊 ？Correct, no? You know what I mean? Yeah, not asking you all to teach, but your attitude towards taking refuge must be the same, no? Because even if for those who have taken refuge, every week or every day when you recite, how do you recite? Buddhang saranang gacchami. 時間搞到邊very important, no? Very important. Yeah. So whether you take refuge already or not, for those who have already taken refuge, you must check yourself. Check yourself, especially if you do puja every day. Why? Because if you do puja every day, easy to become jaded, no? Does it by Namo Hanai Tanna Dona Yaya Namo Li. Yeah, fall asleep also can continue chanting the blah 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 blah. Must be careful, no? Because it's easy to become 有口无心. 有口无心. Yeah, then those who have not taken refuge, don't laugh at people who 有口心. At least 还有口 Don't give yourself that kind of thing like, no need lah, I just practice in my mind, I don't have to say one. Not good. Not good for who? Not good for ourselves. Yeah, because seriously, really, really, I mean, I can also explain to you, but I don't want. Really, I don't want. I want you to go and reflect and realize yourself. Yeah, because what I see very clearly is, it's actually about our own ego. I don't mean to be hurtful, but if you feel hurt, I mean, too bad lah. Because ego hurts us. Yeah, because if it's not about ego, I say ego, you won't feel anything. It's not about ego, it is about ego. It is the ego. Yeah. Unless, in case, maybe some of you big Buddha Sattva, then you are trying to deliver a teaching point, then after class, come and secretly tell me, 师父, 地藏菩萨. Wow, immediately by 阿弥陀佛. 弟子忏悔. Yeah, otherwise, 好好回去想一想. There are one sister, one brother. Do you all have something to comment or ask just now? You have something? You raise your hand. Yes, agree. The trouble is, yeah. So the point I wanted to make was also, it's easy for us to say 因缘要具足, but for many people, 就是这个因缘咯. Huh? Yes, of course. Yeah. Oh, chakra, yes. And how about you?
My thinking is same like my brother saying. He said that they are afraid of the 5%.
Afraid of 5%.
Last time you ever explained something about not to be afraid of 5%.
Yes.
So I think you must explain more on the 5%. Because I think the first one is alcohol, a lot of people, offense.
Yeah.
Because of that, they have joy with friends. So they think of the alcohol only, they be scared.
Yeah.
Maybe not him,
Maybe others. It's true. Yeah, it is true.
Maybe we talk about the second thing is lying. Some people say, how can I don't lie, sometimes this sort of thing. So I think maybe you can explain saying that you say you can how to explain that the 5 precepts and if you say they afraid to broke the 5 precepts or something like that.
I can explain that.
That is the most important. You have explained this before.
Yes, I have. You have something else to add?
Oh yes, Sifu. Firstly, I'm not afraid of the 5 precepts.
Huh?
What I meant is that as a lay person, because of the society that we are living in, it's very difficult to keep the 5 precepts.
Yes.
So when we take the refuge in front of the Buddha, we make a vow to ourselves that we have to keep it. But as
Then the Buddha follow behind. Oh, you break precept.
No, I mean as a someone who has already ordained, he or she has more better conditions to keep their vows and stuff. But as a lay person, I'm not giving excuses, but it's very difficult for us to keep the precepts in the society. That is why people choose to ordain in the first place, so that they can.
I remember when I was in secondary school, there was one day I had this sudden outburst. I shared with my second sister, and I told her that it has occurred to me. It will be much easier to practice if I'm a monk, because it wasn't so much about the precepts, but it was simply about that as a lay person, I have social commitment. I have social expectations put onto me, that if I don't hang out with friends, then they may look at me strange. Whereas if I'm ordained, I mean even at the age, somehow I had this idea that if I'm ordained, then nobody can say anything about me if I don't hang out with them. Yeah, but only to that extent, the socializing part. Beyond that, as a lay person, in the past, I still observe the precepts. I don't say that there's no difference. There is a difference, but that's where the merit comes from. That's where the practice comes in. Observing the precepts, being a Buddhist, is not about an easy path. Yeah, it is not. So you must expect that it will be difficult. The question is it worthwhile? And I will tell you it is worthwhile. We shouldn't give up or shun away from doing something simply because it's difficult. I can understand how the social pressure makes it easier for us to just say, you know what, maybe I don't take it up first. Yeah. I agree that it makes it easier or tempting for most people to just go the easy path. But I still say we should then consider more deeply the implications, both if you observe the precepts and also if you don't observe the precepts. Because it's not so much you don't observe the precepts, then nothing will happen to you. You observe or don't observe the precept, if you transgress those actions, you do those actions, there are consequences. In fact, the Buddha in one of the sutta highlighted there was a prince who had this wrong view. He thought that it's better if he don't observe the precepts, than to observe the precepts. And the Buddha explained to him that it is like a person who is blind versus a person who has clear vision. With clear vision, you will avoid the hot pot, and avoid being harmed. And with clear vision, even if you accidentally touch it, you will know how to avoid it. You know how to move to safety. Whereas if you are blindfolded or you are blind, then what choice do you have? You're going to just go from one hot pot to the next hotter pot. The whole idea, 知法犯法罪加一等, is a Chinese thing, it's not a Buddhist thing. The Buddha don't advocate that. Instead, the Buddha advise and encourage people to take up the precepts, because it plants the seeds and points us to what is right and wrong, which forms part of what is known as right view. And it is with this that prevents us from rebirth in the lower realm. So don't be afraid of breaking the precepts. I'm not suggesting for people to break precepts. But don't be afraid of observing the precepts simply because you are afraid of breaking them. Rather, as my teacher explained, he says, one should not be afraid. One should take up the precepts, start learning, and refine ourselves as we go. Then to me, this is a more, how do I put it? In a way, moderated approach. Not extreme. Either I observe perfectly or I don't observe. Don't have to be this way. Yeah. No? In the end, it is still up to individuals to decide when you want to take up this practice, this set of training rules to train ourselves towards enlightenment. No? Ego. Hey, but not bad lah. You know, Sifu say openly like that. She's still okay. Yeah, some immediately. Some I never say anything also. Jialat lah. Sifu. Yeah. Good affinity. Yeah. Okay? Can maybe no, cannot because today we started late, so I extended a bit. Then now a bit too much already. Maybe you can bring your question up the next round. Can. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛，起立。